The ANC's provincial elective congresses taking place around the country have been said to be a precursor to the National Elective Congress set to take place next year. If some key developments in several upper regions are anything to go by, they may well help us predict the outcome of the party's National Elective Congress. Political analyst Elvis Masoga joins us now for his perspective on the issue. Mr. Masoga, a very good afternoon to you. Good to have you with us. Perhaps let's start with the significance of these elective congresses.
Are you still alluding something, Tammy, or should I begin?
Yes, please do go ahead. We're live on air now. I was asking you about the significance of the elective conferences. What is it?
No, firstly, my humble greetings to you, Tammy, and all the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. Yeah, remember, in any political party, including the ANC, the significance of hosting an elective conference is rooted in the belief that the members must always decide the brand or the quality of leadership that they want. Branches must decide from time to time, after 3 years for regional conferences, after 4 years for provincial conferences, and after 5 years for the national conferences. The members must be afforded an opportunity from time to time to determine the new brand or quality of leadership that they want in their organization. The same applies to the ANC. But Tammy, there is a very unique, strange political dynamic that is unfolding in the ANC Limpopo. Usually, what is happening in other provinces, you find that it might be a precursor as to how that particular province will vote in the forthcoming national conference. But in the Limpopo ANC, there is a unique trend because whichever faction wins a regional conference, you are not sure as to which faction will vote for which particular national leader when it comes to the national conference. The same applies. I hear people saying there's an RET faction in Limpopo, there's a Ramaphosa faction in Limpopo, but these regional conferences do not give a brilliant illustration as to how the Limpopo ANC will vote in the national conference of the ANC, because you find a situation whereby you have got factional dynamics in Limpopo. One faction wins over the other in Limpopo, but only to find that you can't associate them with a particular national leader. It is not quite clear in Limpopo which faction is aligned to Ramaphosa or which faction is aligned to Magashule. So it's a very unique, strange trend that is happening in Limpopo. And I want to caution people, because some people will say, for example, a win in Vembe, a win in Sikukuni is a win for a particular national leader. That is not the case. Factional dynamics in Limpopo are in a way that do not necessarily elevate into national preferences. And I can't even tell you as to whoever wins in the Capricorn district, in the Capricorn conference, I don't know which faction wins. And in case they win, I can't associate them with a particular national slate. And that is a problem in Limpopo.
I'd like us to take a global look at the elective conferences and maybe what we can glean from them based on the local government elections, the results that came out of the local government elections, as well as the subsequent rhetoric that emerged specifically about the caliber of cadres and the influence of the branches.
Yeah, I think, other provinces of the ANC can, derive an inspirational lesson from the way Limpopo ANC conducts its politics. Yes, there are factional politics in the ANC, but they are not in a way that they happen to be controlled at national. We have got exclusive provincial dynamics in Limpopo that do not have any association with what is happening at the Tule House. Like in other provinces, as I explained earlier, you find a situation whereby, for example, an elective regional conference in the Eastern Cape or in Gauteng or in KwaZulu-Natal will have a bearing as to which preferred national leader will be voted for in the coming national conference of the ANC. But in Limpopo, it's totally different. And even right now, with regard to the factions that are in the Limpopo ANC. I can't even tell you as to which faction in Limpopo is associated with President Ramaphosa, which faction in Limpopo is associated with Ace Magashule. It's not that easy. They've got this exclusive provincial dynamics that do not necessarily explain what happens at national. And I think it's something that is very good, because provincial politics must prefix themselves on provincial dynamics. And the danger in other provinces is that ANC cadres in those provinces, they spend most of their time obsessing about national dynamics to the exclusion of their own province. And in Limpopo, maybe they could have benefited from their chairperson, Chupuma Tabata. He has never been a loyalist of any leader. He has never been a loyalist of any particular faction. He takes decisions in light of the circumstances that are unfolding in Limpopo, and that's exactly what other provincial structures of the ANC must do. Gone are those days when provinces must be loyal to some particular national leaders. So provinces must be loyal to their own circumstances, and it will be good for service delivery, because at times provinces take decisions that are not good for their province, but good for national dynamics. And that is a problem that I see in other provinces, but not in Limpopo. And I can reassure you that it's not easy to tell from these regional elective conferences in Limpopo as to which particular national leader will benefit from that victory. It's not that easy.
If we look at the outcomes of the elective conferences so far, the so-called RET, they have won most of the conferences in Limpopo and KwaZulu-Natal, as well as the Eastern Cape. The CR22 campaign have retained the OR Tambo region. Does this give us any sort of perspective or an inkling of the chances of President Cyril Ramaphosa once again being re-elected? Can we glean from these results where he is positioned as far as re-election is concerned?
You know, Tammy, in my limited experience, you know, as a political analyst, is that, you know, I've been able to craft, you know, a distinction between popular myths and objective reality in as far as the ANC politics is concerned. They are usually popular myths that tend to suggest that there is a non-compromising warfare or battle between the RET faction on the one side and the CR17 faction on the other, particularly in Limpopo ANC. And I want to correct those kind of people. They are missing the point. Most of the times I'm based in Limpopo, I've been observing and analyzing clinically these dynamics in Limpopo for more than a decade. And I can reassure you that historically, even if you can trace, you know, elective conferences of the ANC since 1994 at national level, you are going to realize that factional unfoldings in the Limpopo ANC do not have a bearing as to how dynamics will unfold at national level. And I want to caution people who are saying a win by a particular faction in Limpopo is automatically a win for Ramaphosa or a win for Ace Magashule. They are totally missing the point. There is this, you know, political exceptionalism that is happening in the Limpopo ANC. They tend to be loyal to their province more than becoming loyal to national dynamics. And it doesn't start now. It has been, you know, in existence for so many years. ANC factions vote in a way that might even betray you when they come to national elective conferences. So I want to caution people, a win by a particular faction in Limpopo does not automatically mean it's a win for Ramaphosa or it's a win for Ace Magashule. That's why people will be surprised.
Mr. Masoga, we'll leave it at that for this afternoon. Thank you so much for your perspective on the elective conferences, the ANC elective conferences that have been unfolding. That's political analyst Elvis Masoga.